Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is my 10th video on refrigeration and air conditioning. In my last video, I have discussed about thermostatic expansion valves in detail, where I have shown how this constant superheat is maintained by this thermostatic expansion valve. In this video, I'll try to explain this electronic expansion valves. So friends, before I begin, do subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends to keep learning. Now let's begin with this video. This electronic expansion valves basically contains two important components. One is this motor, stepper motor, and other is this gear assembly, which is also called this digital linear actuators. So let's discuss about these two important components separately, and then after that we'll see the working principle of this expansion valve when it is installed in the system. So now let's first see this stepper motor, how they work. Stepper motor rotates a known amount of arc and then stops. So even if power is still there, then also they won't keep on rotating like the normal motor. When power is removed, then reapplied, then this stepper motor will rotate another fixed amount, and then again it will stop. This cycle may be repeated indefinitely within the mechanical limit in either direction. Stepper motor, like almost all motors, are based on the magnetic principle that opposite pole attracts and like pole repels. If the center magnet is free to rotate, then the orientation shown will always occur, like this orientation. The center magnet is free to rotate, and as this south pole attracts north pole and north pole attracts south pole, so this orientation will always occur. If the magnets are used, if the electromagnets are used, then the pivoted magnet or the rotor can be made to align with the magnetic field created when the electromagnets are energized, as we can see in this figure. When these these electromagnets are energized, then this pivoted permanent magnet will align uh, in this will move and align in the same direction, in the direction as shown in this figure. If the power is left on, the magnetic pole will align and no further motion will take place. So if multiple group of electromagnets are placed around a freely moving or rotating permanent magnet rotor, each is energized in series, then the rotor will step to each alignment position and the stepper motor is created, as we can see in this figure. In this figure only 4 electromagnets are shown, but in reality 24 to 100 virtual electromagnets are there in the this stepper motor that can create an arc of 15 to 3.6 degrees in each step angles. So this is how the stepper motor works. This is the working principle of stepper motor. Now let's see the why we have this digital linear actuators. In case of electric refrigerant valve control, not only is the linear motion needed, but a significant linear force is also needed to close the port against high pressure, as this condenser pressure is very high, around 15 to 20 bars. The solution to both these needs is solved by these digital linear actuators. These are used to convert rotation to push or pull, often with large input in the output force, large increase in output force. The force increase is derived from the simple gear train mechanism and may account for 5-fold increase in mechanical advantage. So there is mechanical advantage by using this gear train, which is needed to close the valve against high pressure. This torque increase is used to turn the device screw and or threaded shaft. This shaft is threaded. This threaded shaft is rotated by this gear train. A drive nut, this nut or a coupling is threaded onto the shaft, but it is prevented from turning by a keyway or specially shaped guide. Since this cannot be turned, it must move forward or backward depending upon the rotation of the threaded shaft. So this is how this gear train helps in providing mechanical advantage and closing this wall against high pressure. And this mechanism also helps in converting rotary motion into linear motion. Now let's see the operation of this expansion valve when this is installed on the system. The high pressure liquid refrigerant bursts through a small gap between the valve seat and the needle. It drops in pressure. This will result in some refrigerant vaporizing, and rest will continue through as a liquid. This mixture of liquid vapor refrigerant is sprayed onto the evaporator where it will absorb heat. After evaporator, we will find a pressure transducer and a temperature sensor which constantly takes measurement and sends this data to the controller. These electronic expansion valves are controlled by temperature or the pressure sensor. So as we can see in this diagram, this is the temperature sensor and this is the pressure transducer. These two are providing feedback to this controller. This controller takes feedback from these two sensors, and then accordingly this controller will send signal to this electronic expansion valve to regulate the flow. Not all the electronic expansion valve will use this method. It depends on the manufacturers and the system. Some simple one will use a single transmitter at the operator outlet, and some will use two thermistors, one at the inlet and the other at the outlet, and then use the temperature difference of these two thermistors to calculate the superheat. So not all the this expansion valves, not all the electronic expansion valves this uses stepper motor. Some may use this solenoid valve uh, solenoid coils, and in small systems some electronic expansion valve may take feedback from a single sensor which is installed at the outlet of the evaporator, or from the two sensors, one installed at the inlet to the evaporator and other at the exit to the evaporator, and the difference of these two temperatures will be used for calculating the superheat, and accordingly the electronic solenoid valve will be actuated. The pressure difference between the valve and the sensor caused by the refrigerant distribution system are also corrected, that is the superheat. That is the superheat. So the pressure difference, the not I will not say the pressure difference, I'll say the pressure drop. Pressure drop is also taken care by these temperature sensors which is installed at the inlet and the outlet of the system. So this pressure drop is also taken care by this solenoid valve to take care of the superheat. The electric actuator controls the shutter to adjust the orifice area continuously to allow a higher or lower mass flow rate of the refrigerant to pass depending upon the signal from the regulator. This is the controller. They are calling controller as the regulator. This type of valves can handle large variation in operating conditions. That is, example, change in pressure difference and cooling capacity. So the range of this cooling capacity and the pressure difference, change in pressure difference is large for electronic expansion valves. The pressure is measured and it is converted by the controller using stored data from the refrigerant being used in the system to find the saturation temperature. This is then compared to the actual temperature measurement. The difference between the two is the operating superheat. So the working principle is still the same as that of the thermostatic expansion valve. Like suppose with this pressure transmitter, the saturation temperature is calculated from the stored data which is there in the controller, and this temperature sensor will tell the exit temperature of the evaporator. So the temperature corresponding to this pressure which is obtained from this pressure transmitter and the temperature exit temperature of the evaporator which is obtained from this thermostatic temperature sensor, will be used to calculate the superheat. The controller then decides whether the expansion valve should open to let more refrigerant into the evaporator or close to reduce the entry into the system. The controller then sends electrical signal to the expansion valve stepper motor to energize the coil and create an electromagnetic field and vary its polarity. This forces the permanent magnet to rotate clockwise or counterclockwise depending upon the polarity generated. So as we have already seen in the construction of the expansion valve, electronic expansion valve in the previous slides. Each time a signal is sent, the permanent magnet will rotate a fraction of revolution to provide a very accurate adjustment to the superheat. So these expansion valves can be very accurately adjusted for the superheat. Superheat value can be minimized very accurately to the minimum. Sorry. So thank you friends. This was the video on electronic expansion valve. So I have almost about to finish this refrigeration and air conditioning. Mostly I'll just cover lube oil properties and the working of oil separators and high pressure cutout. Then after that I'll just start with purifiers. So till then, take care, have fun.